It's June 2017. A little-known 6-part group from Hackney in London released their melodic Yo Darling, featuring Manchester-born UK rap legend Gecko. It was a hit, captivating the scene and homogenizing a genre-blending era into a worldwide vibe. NSG became somewhat of a global phenomenon, with multiple silver, gold, and platinum records to their name. Trust Issues, OT Bop, 630, Options, so many more. However, what was seemingly like an overnight success to some was in fact a much more complex byproduct of over 4 years of musical exertion, cultural fusion, and eventually a blooming sound. This is the story of how NSG became global superstars. As they huddle up in their home borough of Hackney, I remind NSG of the time we caught up a few months ago at a Lotto Boys show in London. The first time the Six popped up on my radar, however, was back in 2016 with their track We Day, an upbeat effort with pertinent subject matter but arguably an elementary delivery, which has since been finely sharpened. With smiles on their faces, they take a minute to reflect on what has been a crazy 2 years, as Papi Abs begins.
We try to display growth, and I feel like we do that from 016 to where we are now, and it's proper growth.
Were you expecting it?
Yeah, you always expect it.
You have to expect.
If you don't expect
It's
it,
about when it's just about the time when it comes. You always expect.
if you don't expect growth, you're not gonna grow.
Just don't know what to
100%. If you don't have that mindset, how you growing?
So you knew you were going to get there, but did you think it happened so fast?
No, exactly. We didn't know. We didn't put a time limit on it, but we knew we were
But
going to get
I don't even think there's like 5 years. I don't think that's fast.
No, well, I mean, in comparison to some people.
I understand you.
Yeah.
Understand.
100%.
But you know, to us, we also don't see it as that fast because we've been recording music for a long time.
Yeah, for long.
So you know what I mean? The audience probably might see it as quick, but we don't see it as that quick as well. So,
Because the brand has been there from early.
Yeah, of course, man. And that's what I wanted to first talk about was NSG. You guys all met in college, right? Except for one.
secondary.
Secondary school, sorry, secondary school.
We grabbed one along.
The man moved during himself.
Okay. Oh, so you adopted him? Like.
He had something going on that day. Just good.
Oh,
It was like the streets to you coming in.
See?
The Six, half originating from Nigeria and half from Ghana, hence NSG standing for Nigerian/Ghanaian, amongst other things, were literally just mates in secondary school, as Cruds explained. Whilst each of them had a love for music, it was the general life experiences and the time they had spent together that had formed the now fundamental gelling of culture and opinions that built the grounds of their global approach to sound. Whilst music was always there, NSG explained it was a movement before it became the prominent factor.
So you met in secondary school, but were you just mates, or was it music that brought you together?
Well, mate, we're literally just mates. I don't think it was a music. Every person done music or had a music interest, loved music, but we met as mates in football in the same secondary school. So we didn't actually ever meet on a thing where you do music, I do music. Like that.
So when was the first time music came into play?
Well, I always had like little.
I feel like music was always there.
Music
was always a
Everyone always did music, but it's not.
On the individual things slightly as well, like, everyone had their own interest doing their own
Music
things.
was a factor.
But I feel like when
what brought us there was probably just the era being from national party.
Another thing that made like energy actually come to life as well, as you said, that Blackberry did. It's around all 14 times. It started an old joke saying energy. Remember, this was not when it had to do with music. So that's what started the energy movement, basically, and that's
And then
where
parties,
the name came from.
NSG, everyone it was NSG around it.
So that's before music, as in, it was just known as these guys that always together, turn up at these places. You know what I mean? So that's where it initially started from.
And at this time, like, obviously, half of you are from Ghana, half from Nigeria, right?
Jeez, done young.
What was the music you were listening to? Was it mainly African-centric music? Or was it,
a lot of African.
But there's also a blend.
Because we grew up in London.
You grew up in London, so you must
a lot
have
of
been
UK
exposed.
music, a lot of Caribbean music.
Can you give me some artists? Like, give me some examples.
There's so many artists.
Is it? At that time.
Back growing up.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was
gigs.
Steptone gigs.
That's the UK one.
That's the UK.
Let's say African, yeah, Wizkid, Davido's.
Yeah, Whiskey. That's what I was
So you just finished it yesterday, innit?
I was there, so what?
Did you go?
I was sick. It was sick.
Was it nice?
Whiskey came out nuts.
Oh shit.
But yeah. Yeah, I'd say I was listening to them back then as well.
R2B's as well.
Yeah, RTBs, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, shout
Yeah,
out to
Vibes
Cartels.
Maybe
We listen to anything that
we were
was.
talking about the bashment side as well, like Vibes Cartels, anything that was around them times, we had parties.
I remember I used to read.
Vibes Cartel was banging.
You had literally 30 minutes there. You know, if you got London, you hear Vibes Cartels on favourite in them little house parties, especially Hackney's heavy Caribbean influence. You hear Vibes Cartel, you know what I mean? So that as well, literally, and American music, everyone wants to see.
And Odd Yets as well.
They're more bashment, raw bashment.
That's what I used to get down in the room, you know what I mean?
But yeah, there's so much influence to it. But I feel like there's two main influences I feel like is literally the African one and the Caribbean one. I feel like that stands up strong.
And it's telling. Whilst the NSG sound has remained consistent, their delivery, sharpness, and overall presence has not only shifted up a gear, but it has flourished into a leading barrier-transcending genre. You can't put a label on it. It's world music.
I'd personally call it world.
Thank you. You know you've got it spot on because that's why I hear everyone people say genres, Afro black, Afro swing, other stuff. I feel like, especially us, I don't know, I can't talk for other artists. I feel like we're doing world music. I feel like we're doing world music. We're not trying to put ourselves in a box of these types of
That's what I'm
artists.
saying. So like,
I'm doing music. I want everyone in the world to listen to me. So don't put me in a box. Then say, not sometimes that it's like genres die out, has a phase. And, you know what I mean? I'm not that.
exactly, and that was my.
It's at this point, when addressing the genre blending topic, that I angle for some more insight on NSG's opinion as an embodiment of the sound that is currently, or was currently, dominating the UK charts and the scene. What about the future? Is it probable that such a sound could have a lasting impact in the next 4 to 5 years? Or is it just a passing phase that is inevitably going to die down and wash away?
But then, do you see that sound lasting, like, in the next 4, 5 years? Because obviously you got people like J Hus, you've got Notes, and they're in the charts and they're killing it. But can you see that sound really having a lasting impact?
The only reason why I can see that sound having a lasting impact, not necessarily that the beats and production will stay the same, is that the aspect of culture. People are putting the culture. Culture never dies out. Thank you.
As long as
culture can never ever die. Afrobeats will go forever. I mean,
It's spot on with that. Because
culture never dies. So you might hear J Hus on a different beat, but you still know this is J Hus because he's influenced by his culture. You might hear, it's not gonna say.
Speaking of J Hus, a notable connection with NSG is through his longtime collaborator and producer, J5. Now a legend in the UK scene, J5 started producing over 15 years ago. 2013 was when he first linked up with NSG. Labeling him a legendary family magician, Cruds and Abs of NSG described their first collaboration as an Afro bashment joint. They worked on it over 10 years ago, and it was their first song that was engineered by the one and only J5.
Literally since our first song, which was called Why the Coach Afrobeat Remix, that was literally like a big bashment song for Afrobeat dialect. That's like 013. Literally, literally. So I feel like that was like our first fusion of Afrobeat and bashment in 013. J5 literally was the engineer that recorded
so
us.
it goes back all the way to 013.
Yeah.
So the
Intro, this is our very first song, This is Energy. The intro says J5.
I couldn't find it.
If you say that Energy, Why the Coach Afrobeat will come up. The intro, our very first song says J5. This is before it was even out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it goes way back. My very first song, yeah.
And do you know if he was working with J Hus at that time?
No, he wasn't. He met J Hus later on in 014.
Okay.
Pretty much, close.
So you've seen it all then?
Yeah.
That must be crazy to see the success of.
Yeah, it is. J Hus he's a star. He's a superstar. And what's much that we did. Obviously, like we're around the same circle and we hear stuff. I've even saying I've seen this guy is different. And now he's proven to the world he's different, isn't it? That's
guys,
it.
it's just
He's sick.
Okay.
Like J5 is different. He's different. It's a
Yeah,
mad
of course,
combination. A mad one.
yeah, them two together just
Yeah, that's what's
And
happening.
then obviously J5 was the producer for Yo Darling, right?
Yeah.
That was it came out in 2017, sorry. June.
last year.
Did you make it in that year as well? It was.
It was that year. Was that year? Actually,
Early that year.
Early that year. That was after we went on tour with Gecko.
Okay.
We got Gecko.
Yeah, of course you went on tour with Gecko. How was that? Like, was that?
That was.
Do you know what? I feel like it was so sick because it was like our first, like I'd say, our first tour basically.
Yeah, proper tour.
And it was just an experience that you got fans in places you've never been, but
Yeah,
the music,
Big up Gecko.
like real sick. You know what I mean? So everything we do, you catch like, let's say OGD's he's making something. Everyone's just in the background, just vibes in, just different melodies just coming across, and then you just record time, stay.
And when
it was catching up and it stays.
yeah, exactly. It's very catchy. And when you did it, did you know it was gonna be?
Well, every song we record, we know obviously it's
Okay.
it's bigger than us. We know it's gonna be good, but not as big as it was.
Man,
But we had abs here.
when I heard
We
it,
saw
like,
the vision.
when he sent the email, I heard it. I was like, "Yo, this is the one." I said it, and then I put in the chat. I was like, "Yo, man, this is the tune, man."
It happened. It happened.
Man.
This song is just on madness.
Yeah.
After the track had been released, a month later saw NSG perform at Wireless Festival, followed by receiving bigger airtime as they hit the UK top 30 indie charts. To date, the track itself has amassed over 56 million YouTube views and 52 million Spotify streams. With the seemingly overnight success off the back of this one track, it hasn't frustrated their intrinsic artistry given the years of graft that came before the current success. From shutdown shows to collaborations with Liam Payne, in fact, it can't be disputed. Just as Yo Darling was the breakthrough track for most listeners with their finger on the pulse, Pushing Up came next, a single featuring UK rapper and artist Notes, attracting even more first-time NSG listeners. So eloquently explained earlier, it's progress, it's growth, and you can't complain if you're growing.
That was the most natural collab ever.
Like literally, yeah. We had a big up Ayo, yeah. We had a session with a producer called Ayo.
Yeah.
Just we went for the session and literally played a beat, we all vibes in, everyone laid out the verses, and we just chilling like we knew the chorus, innit? Like, we knew the chorus.
Yeah.
And it was like when Ayo played the beat, MJ was like, this sounds like a note song, innit?
Oh,
Basically, how the studio setup is basically, like anything we don't know how the studio setup. There's many studios, so like anyone could be in any other studio. A few artists go, so we don't know notes is good, nothing.
Yeah.
No, but a week before we was going, a week after we was going on this tour, but we still didn't know notes in the good. So we've got this song, sound like a banger. All looking at each other like, wow, we need a chorus. It's deep. Everyone said this song sound like a note song. So we're basically chilling, and literally someone walks in, gets to his notes. Like, I'm being so serious. No,
that it stars were aligned.
he walks in, like, it's like he starts talking about the tour because we're going on the tour next week. And it's like, oh, the tour's gonna be sick. We're like, yeah, sick. Those are sick tours, sick experience. Shout out, notes like, killed it. So basically, and he's feeling the song, he's bopping in it. Went out for a quick smoke, came back, he's still bopping. Like, what? You man, what? Can I jump for this? I'll jump for this. Yeah, like,
So you didn't even have to ask him. You just
literally, he was feeling the vibe. That's how we like to work. We like to work organically. You know, if the vibe is there, he's sick. He's done. He's doing this. You know what I mean? Or from Hackney as well. No, that's what I'm saying. It was organic.
It seemed as though the stars had aligned, and so had the collaborations, as they emphasised that it had been only organic. The Pushing Up track itself was clearly up next for NSG in what became a string of 2018 bangers, leading up to a new project and an eventual headline tour. Expect everything and then more is the message I received. Given their worldwide musical influences, the interest that they have enticed from industry and listeners alike, and not to mention the overreaching universal sonic and soulful appeal, 2018 proved to be a pivotal moment for NSG. Their singles, timings and rollouts were never of so much importance, given the wave they had been riding. Although, such a challenge seemed not to faze a young Hackney-based international movement, as, in their own words,
There's
been many, but and it's cost sick opportunities, sick people that. But we're just trying to when the time is right. We just feel like
that's it. It's all about timing.
Timing. So everything's about the timing.
Exactly.
You will feel it.
It might be the right thing, but it's the wrong time.
The world.
It's preaching, you know.
No, you have to feel it. Trust me. if the timing's right, everything.
And because we all vibe each other, we all feel like it's not the time, so why should we do it?
Personally, that's important.
And it worked. In 2018, they released the now infamous single Options, featuring none other than rap star Tion Wayne. It became their first single to reach the UK singles chart at number 7, and it was followed up by their second mixtape, Roots. From then on, NSG catapulted to global stardom, with world tours, charting singles, and so much more. The rest, as they say, is history. That is the story of how NSG became global superstars. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to us, and drop a comment below, as we continue to tell the stories in music that haven't been told. Till next time.